And welcome to another episode of WCCFtech Plays. Welcome, I am Jeff Williams, your host today, and we're going to be building ourselves a nice, wonderful budget PC. I'm petting my dog at the moment because she decided she wanted to come over. Today we're going to show you what it's like to build a budget PC, and it's going to be a fantastic budget PC, except some of you might not like it because it is AMD based. We're going to be using the AMD X4 860K Black Edition, and we're going to be benchmarking that, overclocking that as much as possible to show you precisely how awesome or not awesome that it can be. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Alright, so let's get started. Let's show you what we're going to be building today, what's on here. What is not on there, however, is the wonderful hard drive that I'll be using. If you can see that, it's great. If not, then I'll tell you. We'll be using, like I said, the AMD Athlon X4 860K Black Edition, a Gigabyte GA F2A 88 XN Wi-Fi mini-ITX, a Zotac GTX 750 Ti, some Kingston HyperX Savage 16 gigabyte DDR3 2400 megahertz RAM, and for the power supply it'll be an EVGA Supernova 550 GS Gold, because why wouldn't you want an efficient power supply? 550 watt power supply, and we're stuffing all that stuff into a Cooler Master Elite 110. I chose to do a mini-ITX build because I feel that mini-ITX is actually going to be a little bit more realistic. A lot of people like something a little bit smaller. You may like something absolutely massive. But in this particular case with the AMD, I don't believe that it's going to be fast enough or strong enough to power more than one card at a time. And it may not even be fast enough or strong enough to power even a Titan X or even the Fury, but that we will figure that out as we go along, because I will be putting in a Fury in here, and if I can fit it, I'll put in a Titan X. If not, I'll have to get an extension, and that'll be a lot of fun. We'll see what we can do. It'll be exciting. So this is going to be fun. So let's go ahead and get started with our build here. Initially, we're going to put on the stock cooler to see how well that does for the AMD. So that's what we'll do. Then we'll clean it up. We're going to put in a gigantic, awesome water cooling kit, courtesy of aquatuning.us. They've sent one out, aquatuning.us. Sent one out for us to review, which I did review. I did some benchmarks that's coming soon on an Intel i7, Core i7 5690X. And let me tell you that a proper water cooling kit does make a huge, tremendous difference. A tremendous difference, because there's a lot more surface area, water going through, that you can cool it down. All right, before we go, I'd like to talk a little bit about coffee as well, because I know coffee, as we all know, is sort of the gamer's choice of beverage, aside from the obvious, Red Bull and other Mountain Dew. Obviously, apparently Mountain Dew mixed with Doritos to make a cereal soup. Yeah, that's disgusting. But I'd like to talk a little bit about the coffee that I'm drinking. It is not sponsored. It is not being sent to me. I'm not being paid to do this in any way whatsoever. It's just when I enjoy a cup of coffee, I'd like to tell you guys a little bit about it. But this is Death Wish Coffee Company, and they have, it's called Odin Force Blend. It is a dark roast, and it actually doesn't taste dark. It doesn't have the usual dark, smoky flavor to it. It's smooth. It's delicious. It's very surprising, but like I said, I don't actually get paid. I don't get paid by them. I really enjoy it, and I wanted to show you guys, because for crying out loud, I don't like dark roast, but this is actually pretty good. So as my shirt says, we're going to go ahead and go seek and destroy. Not literally destroy anything, but we're going to go ahead and seek out and put together a little PC here. Some of the components have already been put together. Oops. Some of the components have already been put together. Put the motherboard in, because that's kind of a part that takes dexterity that I don't necessarily have anymore, unfortunately. So I went ahead and put that together, put that in so you don't see me fumbling around, cursing, making myself bleed, etc. And that's pretty much it. And aside from that, we're going to do the rest of it. And all right, let's go. Hold on one second here, ladies and gents. Since I'm a one-man show, I have to do everything myself, so I just had to move around over here. But yes, Nescafe, my friend. I cannot see at the moment the wonderful chat. There we go. But we're going to put this bad boy together. Nescafe is actually very good. Surprisingly good. Better than I ever would have thought that it would be. So, but let's continue with this build, huh? Coffee's good. Coffee is... There we go. There we go. An amazing thing to have. It really does. It really does brighten my day whenever I have a cup of joe. All right, so what we have here, Cooler Master... Elite 110 mini-ITX, tiny little cube this bad boy is, but it has 120mm fan in the front. It has space for, you know, it looks like 3 if you really wanted to, SSDs, 2.5-inch hard drives up here at the top. Obviously it has space for a full-size power supply in the back right here. You can actually fit a full-size, which I'll show you. It's a little bit shorter than normal, but it's still a full-sized ATX power supply we're going to put in this bad boy. And obviously there's not enough room in here for, I believe it's 9.7 inches it can hold for the video card, for the graphics card, which isn't too bad because obviously with the Fury X, Fury Nano, we have some mini-ITX GTX 970s out there. You can actually end up fitting something quite nice in here. But for Titan X, I might have to get myself a little extender and just kind of jibbly-wobble it to make it work. But alright, obviously with something as small as this, when you don't have a whole lot of working room, you're going to want to prioritize what you're going to do as far as for building. Obviously you want to do certain components first and move on from there. I've already put in the hard drive. It's just right up here. All you got to do is just place it up there and then screw it in. It is a 120 gigabyte SanDisk, what is it? Ultra 2. That's what it is. Apologize about that. That wasn't included in the price that I have up there. The price list, but because unfortunately I had a line around, so I wasn't thinking about it when I put it on there. But it's on there, and I have it. This bad boy is only about, I believe it's about $79.99 if you go to Amazon or someplace like that. Not too bad. All right, let's get to building. First, we're going to put on the CPU. Why we want to put on the CPU first? Because that's going to be the most difficult thing to put on here. So we have a little AMD Athlon right here, X4. Yes, I know it's probably not going to be considered that powerful, but we'll give it a go. We'll give this bad boy a go. We'll see just how awesome and amazing this bad boy is. If it is, we have no idea. When putting in your CPU, you're going to want to go ahead and line up the triangle with the triangle that's going to be on the motherboard itself or on the CPU socket. Now that I have enough light, I should be able to see where that triangle is so that I can put it down. The triangle is going to be on the bottom left towards me, so I'm going to take that. I'm going to line up the beautiful triangle that we have up there in the top right for you guys. I'm going to line it up. Be going in like this, right down here. Remember, AMD Athlon AMD CPUs have their pins on the back, so you don't want to bend those bad boys. Be very, very careful on putting this bad boy in, because you do not want to destroy anything. Hello. Line up. Told you I'd have fun with this today. Hello. Most difficult part right here. Come on, you! How does this go in? Theoretically, at least. It only goes in one way, thank goodness. Thank the lords. Let's try it multiple ways. Let's try to get this bad boy in here. This is an FM2 Plus CPU. There we go. Beautiful. Look at that. Nice and inside. Absolutely, we could have gotten an R7 and RAM actually is not. RAM is a very important thing when you're talking about computing, especially, not necessarily for games, when you're doing other things as well. Because with this, I plan on doing a lot of other tests, a lot of other, like OpenCL tests to see how it does with other compute tasks. Because those are also important for some people, and they may want to build a budget PC that contains all of that. So RAM actually is very important. RAM speed, not so much, but since it supports it supports 2400 megahertz. Why not try to see if that actually makes a real difference compared to 1600 megahertz? Indeed, we could, I believe, somebody told me this once. You can shoulda all over yourself, but we're not going to shoulda all over yourself. We're going to go ahead and take what we got. We're going to build a PC with it because, you know what? We're going to try it. You're right, we could have gotten an R7 370, but you know what? We got a 750 Ti because that is equivalent to the 860M that's in the Alienware Alpha that I've reviewed many times, and that's what I kind of want to compare this to see if it is on par or, parity with that bad boy. Yes, the 16 gigabytes isn't necessarily something that you have to get. 8 gigabytes is sufficient, but I feel that 16 gigabytes for larger compute tasks and doing other things will be necessary, and we'll see if it actually makes a difference. And that's also something I want to explore with this build. But you can definitely get 8 gigabytes for a lot cheaper than the $119 or $119. You can end up getting 8 gigabytes for a tremendous amount less, like 50. I think in my deal post I have something like, it's 8 gigabytes. I think it's Kingston nonetheless, HyperX. It's 1866 megahertz, I believe. And you can get that for about $52, which is really, really inexpensive. But that is good reasoning. Yes, sir. That is fantastic. You are absolutely right. But all right, back to this. Building this PC. Like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the stock cooler just to see how this does, how we can overclock it. It looks piddly, doesn't it? But then we're going to go on to something much larger and much bigger. This thing is tiny. Is this actually going to do anything? We're going to find out. This bad boy looks a little bit more difficult to put on. But we have to hook it on one side. Can you see that? I'm a one-man show. Excuse me. I'm going to hook it on this side, and then we're going to push down on this side, and clamp that bad boy in. Whoop, pop. So it's clamped. I'm going to get my clamps out. That's a reference to Futurama. That's because I didn't want to show you guys me fumbling around with the motherboard, actually. But this is possible. This isn't necessarily the recommended way to do it, but this is one way to do it. You can do this. Sometimes I actually do this. In this particular case, with this case, it may not necessarily be the smartest idea. Thankfully, you can actually take this off, so you can just maneuver around. But a lot of the times I do this with a small CPU cooler like this. You don't necessarily have to. But if you're putting in something obviously like that has a back plate that you need to like the Noctua DH15, then you're definitely going to want to put it in the motherboard, put the motherboard in first, so it's nice and stable, because that Noctua is really, really heavy, because it's a gigantic amount of copper and aluminum. So, but that's why I did this. But we can actually take this off if you wanted to explore this top portion right here, to put this bad boy in here. But this is just the way that I do it. This is just the way I prioritize. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. Definitely, I put in this case, I'm putting the PSU in last. Put the RAM in before the cooler. Well, actually, because this fits. I mean, it'll fit without disrupting where the RAM goes, because the RAM is actually very, very. It's beautiful, actually. That being a one-man show. Because the RAM is so tiny, it's not going to get in the way. So I can actually just go ahead and place this first. Actually, if it were larger, I may want to. You're absolutely right, but there is enough room for me to do this. What up? Beatbox RS, dude, Kevin, welcome. I'm doing the hardware part. By the way, Kevin is our resident streamer who does more games than I do, and he's fantastic at it. Everybody should go see Kevin. Kevin is amazing, and he promotes us because he loves us, because he's awesome, and he does reviews for us, and he's just a cool dude. Welcome, Kevin. Welcome. Yeah, the Noctua's way, but sometimes, let's say you're doing a 2011 build, 2011-3 build, and you want to put in, with an X99 motherboard, and you want to use an all-in-one water cooler, you generally don't have to. You might want to, actually, so you can install the radiator first, etc. Now I got to maneuver my hands in here. Give me 1 second while I unscrew this. By the way, I recommend... Where'd it go? I recommend Pink Tools, because Pink Tools are the coolest thing in the world, by the way. Pink Tools, awesome. Unscrew this bad boy. Unscrew this bad boy. World of Warships looks weird. Looks like a bunch of warships. Alright, Pink Tools don't work. Going to the hefty stuff. Hold on a second, guys. World of Warships is actually a fantastic game. I don't care what anybody says. If you had to assemble the ship components yourself, so it's like what is it? Space engineers. Space engineers are medieval engineers, and so you're putting everything together, building everything. It's a crafting game. Yeah, I can see that. What could we call it? We could call it Naval Engineer Simulator. Shipbuilding Simulator. That could be a new one. Better than Goat Simulator, I'll tell you what. Oh, that was loud. Darn! Builds is fun, but this is a budget build with AMD, which I'm sure all of you out there are probably gasping because it's AMD, oh my god! What are you doing? But I'm doing what I want. No, because we're testing it just to see. We want to check out just how well this thing will do. I'm a one-man show! Yeah, we're going to rally this fan... No, I can see that happening, actually. But, you know, I love AMD. I love Intel. I love it all. I love competition. Get on there, you! Unfortunately, I don't have the dexterity like I used to. So you're going to see me kind of fumble a little bit, and I apologize. No. There we have it. That is a CPU cooler right on there. Let's see if it'll focus on it. Absolutely, absolutely. We're not quite actually, because what we're doing is this is the article that I posted was just for to introduce me streaming this. But there is going to be an article about a comparison between this and other stuff. So it'll be great. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go through as much as we can, and hopefully I can even get the Intel variant, get the what is it, the G58? I can't think off the top of my head, but the beautiful Intel Haswell Pentium Anniversary Edition, and get that going. But that's a fantastic idea. We're going to have everything in that. I do appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. All right, now we got that CPU cooler in. Tiny little thing, isn't it? Absolutely just tiny. Now we're going to plug in this bad boy fan. Now, where are you, Mr. Fan Controller? Seem to have a few. Generally, they're labeled right next to them. That has 4. That's what we want. Yeah, look at that. Check that out. All right, we're going to take this 4-pin fan controller. I'm going to go ahead and hook it up. Hello. Hook it up. There we go. Yeah, check that out, huh? Next, I'm going to go ahead and go for that beautiful video card. That's 750 Ti, which the reason why we're using it is because it's the equivalent to the 860M, which is an Alienware Alpha, which I had been reviewing. So I want to use that just to see if the AMD CPU, overclocked or stock, can be as good or better. So it's something that we're going to explore in the future. Yeah, when this review finally comes out for this bad boy. All right, now time for this Zotac. Beautiful 750 Ti. And actually, I love this. I don't know why, but this translucent color in the fan blades, that reminds me of some old school Legos, actually. For some reason, this color, like I don't know what it is, so it's like nostalgic for me. 750 Ti. You guys know what that is, right, Maxwell? I believe it's the GM106. Line it up into the slot. Oh yeah, push it down and you're good to go. Feels good when you push it down. No jokes. It's serious business, all right, guys? You know, that actually might be possible because they have the... obviously, you're not going to get an SSD like that. In fact, to get a 3 terabyte SSD, you're looking into... you're looking at going into... goodness gracious. You know, commercial territory. You're going to look at going into the business category, and it's going to be quite expensive for you to do that. But getting a Western Digital Green Drive or the Seagate Barracuda 7214, you might be able to get a 3 terabyte for about $100. They're coming down in price, especially as 6 gigabyte and higher hard drives come out. So that's something that could be seen in the future. Don't doubt it. You may. It's absolutely possible, my friend. I love that. Yeah, those old school Lego pieces. I don't know if they make that. I don't play with Legos anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, 3 terabyte from Western Digital. The Seagate are the seriously high fit. Do they? That's not good to hear. Whoa, 40% fail rate. I see what you're doing. Yeah, the more spinning plates, you're right. The more failure you can have, and hopefully that there isn't a problem like they had back in the, what was it? It was it Hitachi or was it IBM where they had the huge I know Maxter had some failures, some huge failures where they just it was unprecedented, more than 40%. Hard drives failing left and right. You put them in, they fail. You try to install something, they fail. All right, now we're going to put in 2 times 8 gigabyte sticks of some beautiful 2400 megahertz DDR3 RAM in here. It's actually very beautiful. I really like the design. It's understated, but it's very good. Their heat's better than they have on here. I love it. Absolutely love it. I don't have the dexterity like I used to, so I apologize if I look like a fool in here. But you know what? It's fun. Oops. There we go. Make sure it clicks in completely, otherwise you may have problems. You may end up frying your RAM and or just may not register and you may not be able to boot. And always line up that beautiful little notch. Always line up that notch, my friends. You know what they say? Notch is king. I don't know. I don't know what they say. Hello. Hello. Please, Mr. RAM, go where I tell you. There we go. Beautiful, huh? Gorgeous. Now we have the RAM in there. Let's see what kind of comments we got going on here. What I want to do with this, just like I did with the Alpha, I want to review. I want to go through and benchmark a variety of games with this bad boy. First, of course, I want to do Star Citizen. I know that it's pre-alpha, but I want to go for that because it's a good representation of where CryEngine is going. I want to go for obviously I'll even try Arc, see how that's going. Unreal 4, see how that's going. Unreal Engine 4 is very beautiful. I want to do MechWarrior Online. I want to do. I'll even do some MMOs, not Warcraft. Nobody likes World of Warcraft, right? Nobody likes it. No, some people do. Star Wars: The Old Republic. I want to play. Goodness, off the top of my head, there's so many. Like I have a whole list of just Duke Nukem Forever, even though I think that's Unreal Engine 3. I just want to do a lot. I want to do everything that I did for the Alienware Alpha review, the actual review. That's what I want to do for this. I want to compare it, see how good it is. As far as streaming, I can do that. I can see if you guys want me to. I think that's a great idea. This is show a low-budget streaming PC. Obviously, this is not an APU, but nonetheless, we could show CPU utilization. We can show how well it does. I'll try with XSplit. I do have XSplit. I have a subscription to that, and I can show how well it does using AMD's own renderer. So that'd be kind of nice, and also with OBS to see how it does with a CPU-only renderer. All right, those bad boys are in. This is going to be tough because next. Next, let's go ahead and I like to prepare wires beforehand if I can. That's always fun for me. Now let's try to figure out which one is first. Sometimes it's labeled, maybe not. PCIe, which one? BIOS, yeah, I know. Too many BIOS. Looks like the CPU one is actually over here. It looks like Gigabyte, what they do is for the CPU header, they label it white. So white to white. Goes there. All right. Now, I'd like to prepare some wires because I just like to do that. It doesn't really matter what header it's on, so long as it's on the same, I guess the whatever controller they use, AMD's controller. Line up this bad boy right here. Get this out of the way. Elmo. I can't do Elmo. I can do Kermit. I've done Kermit before. Elmo though. If I sound like Elmo, that's amazing. I had no idea, but that's not my intention. That's great. All right, now let's prepare some wires for this beautiful CPU. See which one goes to the CPU and which one doesn't go. Which one? Hello, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and install this. Yes. CPU. Boo. Sometimes it just takes looking at something really quick just to make sure that you're doing it correctly. Let's try not to bump the camera or the microphone. I don't want to be rude to you fellas. Just give me a second here, ladies and gents. Which one's not the same? La 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 la. All right, got that all figured out. Put that on my shelf behind me. If only with smaller PSUs like this. I know Silverstone Tech, they offer it, but if they could offer, this microphone's moving around. If it's making noise, I apologize. It's not my intent here. But if they offer a smaller cable kit for small kits like this, because I think that would be smart. Don't need that. Cable management is not going to be beautiful in this. I can tell you that right now. I need 4-pin. 4-pin it is. I'm going to take this beautiful seat. There we go. It's nice and beautiful. There we go. Because this is probably going to be difficult later. Why is my monitor going dark? I'm going to go ahead and install probably the most difficult part in building PCs. Taking the beautiful case headers. Oops, come here, you. I'm putting these bad boys where they need to go, over here. First, actually, with the way this works, it's the whole. Make sure I don't throw anything on the ground here. The whole side and back of the case comes off. It's the whole, like it used to be back in the day with those big beige cases. So that's what this is. It's the whole shebang comes off. It's really quite neat. Definitely old school. All right, let's plug these bad boys in. Excuse me. A lot of the times these are actually labeled on the motherboard itself, but either the light or my eyes are just destroying me right now. So if that's the case, always consult the manual when it comes to those things, because you know what? Sometimes you might get it wrong, and that's okay. Installing these headers is never the most fun. I know Asus, they have that sweet little thing where you just place everything on it. It's labeled, and you place that little part right down on top of it. Whee! Anyway, so it's really neat. Unfortunately, Gigabyte does not have that, at least for this particular motherboard. So now you gotta watch me figure it out. Da, 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 da. Oh, come on. This is always the best part, I tell you what. Figuring this out. That looks like the I/O. Usually when you properly prepare beforehand, sometimes that will help, right? Da, 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 da. But in this case, I felt I didn't need to. I felt I knew. Boy, was I wrong. There we go. All right, see what's going on in the chat. All right. Make sure it's still streaming. We're still streaming. Excellent. All right. Best part. Hard drive activity LED. Oop. Looks like this bad boy needs to come off. All right. But building a PC is always a lot of fun. There's always challenges. For some reason, I always get cut. I have soft skin, I guess, but I always end up like injuring myself. I'm not entirely sure how. I go bleed. I guess if you don't bleed, then it doesn't count. I guess that's the thought. Once you bleed, you own it. If you bleed on it, you own it. That's what I'm told. And then the reset switch. Da, 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 da. Oop. There we go. Power switch is up there. Power switch. Like I said, the... Oh my, that's completely wrong. Outstanding. Good job. Good show. Good show. All right, let's try this one more time. Hard drive LED. Da, 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 da. There we go. Sometimes if you read it correctly, that might help so you can actually do it. Okay, a reset switch will be next to that. Actually next to that. And that is nothing. All right. Hard drive activity. What is this? Power switch is actually right here. Power LED. And then we will be good. There we go. The most difficult part, I always feel. Let's see what's going on in the chat. The connector part is the worst, I swear. I always get it wrong for something. Something wrong with the charger here, my friend. Yes, 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 yes. This is a mini AMD build. It's going to be a mini AMD build. Yeah, for some reason, connectors like that, or connectors, if you want to get a new power supply or a new power brick for your laptop, it is expensive. Why is that? Why do they have to charge so much for stuff like that? It's absolutely insane. All right, now we're going to go ahead and connect the USB and audio and all the other fun stuff. All right, now I'm going to figure out where all this is. Front audio. It's always the best. HD audio, which it doesn't have front audio, so that's okay. But here we have USB, which is, of course, on the side. All right. Like I said, cable management will be nil in this particular build, at least for now. Well, don't tell me it's already... Okay. Looked like it was already bent for some reason. There we go. I actually don't particularly care about front audio because I'll be using digital. But if you wanted to connect the front audio, you could obviously do that. It'll connect to an AC97 series chipset, which is much, much older, or any sort of HD audio, which on this particular bad boy, it is back here, HD audio, my friends. But that is something that I don't necessarily need, so I will not be using this. So at least let's get a little bit of cable management going in this bad boy, right? There we go. Just a little bit of cable management. It's always good. Let's see what's going on in this chat over here. Right, I love Lost Wires. It's my favorite. Yes, in this particular case, the higher megahertz does, and more RAM in this case, I'm going to be experimenting to see if it actually does make a real legitimate difference, to see if it'll actually help with more tasks aside from gaming, because this is a build that'll be that could be useful for more than just gaming, for actually doing compute type stuff as well. So we'll see if that makes a difference. I'll be comparing it to the Alienware Alpha review I did a little while ago, and doing very similar tests, if not a little bit more stringent here. All right, now let's see if I can actually connect this bad boy. This actually needs to go on this side. Well, stay there for now, buddy. You guys can be there. PSU time, my friends. Thankfully, this is very easy. But yeah, 16 gigabytes, like I said, is to figure out whether or not it actually makes a difference. And PSU, because I want a reliable PSU. And also an efficient one, because as much as you can buy a cheap, crappy PSU, why not get something that's going to last you a while to help make it future-proof. So that's what you want to do. At least that's what I think is important, making it a little bit future-proof. We'll see if it makes a difference. We'll see if I can actually plug this in. Help, Obi-Wan Kenobi! There we go. Now that's in. Really, really easy, right? Very easy. Awesome. Cool, 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 cool. Twitter to get instant updates. That's right, my friends. All right. Clearly that's not what I wanted. Yes, that is what I want. All right. But yeah, 16 gigabytes because I want to see if it makes a difference. I mean, I do understand. You can definitely get 8 gigabytes of, let's say, 1866 megahertz, which will be plenty fast, generally. And that should be enough for most games, for gaming purposes itself. Make sure I'm... There we go. Apologize. There we go. But yeah, 8 gigabytes of RAM you can get cheap nowadays, especially even faster RAM, and so it's actually quite nice. Let's see here. But theoretically, 2400 megahertz does make a difference with AMD. Look at my beautiful hands, everybody. Aren't those gorgeous? Best build video ever. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Look how nice that is, huh? It's very nice how they did this, Cooler Master. It's a very impressive feat of engineering, I think. You may not think so, but that's fine, too. All right, there we go. Cable management, the best thing ever. Yeah, it definitely does. You obviously have more choices than just this. You can use a small form factor power supply. Definitely... but those are going to be a little bit more expensive. I know that Silverstone Tech, they have their mini-ITX power supplies that you can use. They're not actually mini-ITX power supplies, I apologize. But they are their tiny little SFX power supplies. They have up to 600 watts, and they're gold, but they're also quite expensive. Or if you really wanted to, you could end up using a Pico power supply where you can just plug it in and have a power brick, but that may not be enough to power what you want. But that is an option. And as I said earlier, I have a beautiful, look at this SanDisk Extreme 2, not Ultra 2, Extreme 2 that I already pre-installed on this bad boy on this little carrier right here. Just screwed it in right here, 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 and here. Look at that! I'm like Vanna White, ready to go. This is a 120 gigabyte SanDisk Extreme 2. Extreme. They should get rid of the E, and they should just have the X. Extreme. But seriously, though, Pink Tools, these are fantastic. It was my wife's idea. She wanted to get it. She's like, oh, can we get some Pink Tools? I'm like, yeah, let's get some Pink Tools, man. She was like, oh, thanks, man. It was great. It was a good conversation. That is a smart idea because the AMD CPU can generally be had at a pretty good price, and so to use it as a budget PC for any number of things is actually probably not a bad idea. Like I said, in the actual review when I'm doing the benchmarks and whatnot, I'll do a lot of things like that. I'll see how fast it can render videos using either OpenCL on the CPU itself or just using the CPU through brute forcing it, so to speak. So I will try that, see how that goes. All right, now I'm going to attempt to plug in the hard drive. Hello, can you please plug me in? Oh, well, you know what? You probably want to have it facing the correct direction, and then you'll be able to plug this bad boy in. Like I said, I don't have the dexterity that I once had, so you're going to see me doing some funny things with my hands and just having a tough time. But, voila. And unfortunately, at least stock with the PSU, you can't have just one power connector for your hard drive. You have to have mini. Why that is, I don't know, but I have mini. All right. This is going to be tough to plug in because this thing is massive. Well, we can make this happen. I don't know if you can see it, but it's way over here in the back. Way over here. And I'm going to have to plug this in. As far as the L2 cache, there should not be any glaring limitations. It's probably going to slow down just a little bit. So it's probably not even going to be as fast as the Intel the Pentium Haswell edition. I probably actually shouldn't have put this on first. We're going to find out how smart I am. Yep, no, I shouldn't have done that. Stand by, ladies and gents. You learn these things as you go through, though. And sometimes, unless you properly pre-plan and you really go through exactly every step that you're going to do, sometimes you end up like this. And now I have to unscrew this. Take this off. Make some funny noises too. Whoop. and hope that it does not fall. But yeah, the L2 cache should be enough. It's obviously not going to be as fast, but it should be pretty good. All I need to do is just move that right. And make a lot of noise, but move that right there. All right, let's try this again. Oops. Cable management is not my forte. That'll be another post for another time. How to properly manage those cables, because it is important for airflow. It does make a huge difference. But at the same time, it's also quite hard. It's not really... My God, this thing's thick. Of course, when putting these connectors in, you want to make sure that they fully go in all the way and they click as they're supposed to. Oh goodness. Why do they make these so? There we go. That is always the best part. They may not necessarily benefit Vishera, actually, or any of those beautiful CPUs they have. Zen, obviously, it probably will, because the chipsets aren't designed necessarily to take advantage of that unless you overclock. If you overclock, which some of them do overclock quite nicely, they're still very hot and power hungry, it'll actually do fairly well. So it can have a difference, or excuse me, it can make a difference, but it may not be as large of a difference as you might think. But it definitely can make a difference. But generally, you're going to want to have something where you can run it naturally at that speed, which this actually can. So, even though it may not seem like it, this is a strangely capable... What am I doing here? Strangely capable little CPU. Just trying to line everything up. Because if not, screw it. As they say sometimes, YOLO. And we will be completely messing everything up. Great. There we go. Nice and connected. My God, this is going to be tough. Cable management for the win, my friends. Cable management for the win. Squish these bad boys. Come on, you can do it. Or, look at that, you can move it. You can move it anywhere. Look at that. All right, good deal. That'll work. That'll do. That'll do. But yeah, if it can naturally run at that speed, or use an XMP profile from Intel, then it'll have at least some amount of benefit. Obviously, the CAS latency does also have an effect. So if it's going to have a higher CAS latency, but operate at that speed, it may not have as large of a benefit as you might think. Obviously, going into DDR4, because if it's a lot wider and a lot faster, that will, even though it has a larger CAS latency, it'll work better. It'll actually work faster. More memory bandwidth, because everybody loves more memory bandwidth. All right, now that, my friends, is a built PC, but a PC with a little bit horrible cable management. But that, my friends, is indeed a built PC, and all we need to do now is plug this bad boy in, install Windows or Linux,